Hello, you legends.
Sorry for bursting the speakers out of your car if you're listening to this. But hello, you legends, and welcome to episode 13
Lucky or unlucky for
the
some.
bigger podcast. Probably
But lucky for
unlucky.
these two guests.
So we thought, here, look, we've run out of guests. We need somebody who can talk on camera. We need somebody who knows how to work a microphone. And we asked Fergal, and he had to bring John with him.
It's so true. Happy to be here.
Welcome. They also run the second best podcast in Magherafelt, but you know,
Who's the first?
Michael will get a splash.
Splash chats.
So we're very honoured and privileged to have these two local legends on the podcast, because they were probably one of the first podcasts we'd ever been on.
Yeah.
And I think from that has grown quite a few podcasts, would you say?
Nurtured them, yeah.
Nurtured them. It's pretty much, you know, that old saying was like, if they can do it, anybody can do it. That's what we thought.
Stop it.
100%.
No.
That's so true. 100%.
So for,
It doesn't mean it. Doesn't mean it.
for anyone who doesn't know, they run their own podcast, and it's grown legs and it's gone big in anyone's opinion. Yeah,
Bit too big.
bit too big.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much away, but they do a really good, like food section on it, like where it's just really good questions, fire rounds and all. And they're
Tasty.
really fun,
Mega menu.
You know, we're always hungry.
We're always starving.
Yeah.
we actually just bring certain guests on, like food guests, just so we can eat.
The amount of free meals we've got.
They bring food with them, or we just go to
Oh,
them.
that's clever.
Well, tell me this.
Season
Tell me
3
this.
food guests.
Has
Good
any
idea.
of the places that you do talk about approached you and talked to you about, like, here, give us a shout out and we'll give you a free feed? No?
Maybe.
Because if anyone approaches us, I'm willing to do it.
We're not against hashtag ad
Hashtag notorious, any word.
or bands.
True.
We've actually got them two on next year. Ben's and Notorious.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
We're
I
going to
think
get them on this year within.
These are that organised, like next year, like already.
we just, I think it's strange, like the way we organise the podcast is like Fergal will get a message, or Jude will get a message from us and be like, oh, here I was chatting to a boy down the town there and he wants to come on the podcast. What do you think? And they're like, that'd be a good episode. And they're like, we'll bring him on. So then
They're just added to a list.
they're just added
Yes.
to this list, like as long as my arm, and then
Can we have a look at it?
no, it's a good list though. To be fair, like it's some class people, and the way we organise it is really it sounds lazy but very like fluid. It's kind of like I think we were maybe 3 months ahead of ourselves this time, first time in a long time that we were ahead of ourselves, and we cut the podcast down to two podcasts a month rather than 4 because
That's a great idea.
because we were videoing so much.
Yeah.
And Darren knows himself, like a video podcast, especially 2 to 3 hours, is an absolute colossal amount of work.
Because the first one I was on with you, it was just
Just audio.
audio, and you know something, it was less
Yeah.
scary.
It is. It's less stressful.
And I miss it. I honestly miss the audio. Like,
And what
Because
we're going to
you'd
really
be
jump
creeping
forward,
around
but
and like.
what made us go to video then
He goes
as
to the
well?
toilet every time.
I don't know. I think it just progressed that way. We just wanted to get to that stage, and then Fergal was moving out of his apartment at that stage, and we had an opportunity. I seen fellas down in Belfast, and they were comedians down in Belfast, and they were using a pub whenever the pub was closed in the evenings. And I was like, that's a really good idea. There's a venue there that's always available during the week, and it's quiet, nobody's there. I wonder if we could do that in Magherafelt somewhere. And then the Flax, we were actually like promoting the Flax a wee bit anyway, just for the crack. Like we were just making up ads, and they didn't even know we were doing ads for them until someone started messaging them. So
Free advertising.
people will notice that we just call shout out all the time, like, and it's
free
it's just
Scabby.
it's just a bit of crack, like free. It was
What was it?
what was it? You've got the beer garden to yourself, a pint of Guinness, scampi fries, and you've got the darts for half an hour. So we were going on it.
Sure sounds like someone's perfect evening.
Aye, well, we were making out that was like a gal going prize.
Yeah.
Liked, there was only about 5 people liked and shared it, like, but they knew we were only taking the piss. So we found the Flax as a great room, just a great location.
It's perfect up there then.
I got a pity vote on. I got a pity invite because Alex was invited on. I got to come too. And you're like, what are you having to drink? And I was like, oh, probably like Coke Zero or something. You're like, you not want a Guinness? And I was like, best podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry, we've just offered them tea and coffee, but there's no Guinness here today.
But you
I'm
get to
afraid.
keep the mugs.
They got a snack and they got to keep their
Aye,
mugs.
So
So
that's why it works so well. Like, it's conversational, and like whenever we started the podcast, me and Fergal for years at Shady Dolphin, we were maybe 12 hours a day just talking to each other, like constantly. And then even when we were supposed to be going home, me and him were still talking to each other, and we were talking about podcasts and trading ideas. And did you watch that today, or did you listen to that today?
Even back then, because
we listened to so many.
We were
Because they weren't even really popular. They're only really
No.
coming in their own now.
Yeah, locally anyway. But me
I
and
think they're more
Fergal,
accessible now. You see.
we were just constantly just talking about podcasts and loving them. And then like we were inadvertently kind of doing podcasts constantly, because we were going into boardrooms and of like companies and businesses, chatting to like teams of people and just having the crack with them. And Fergal would have went on majority of them as well, and like me and him were just a double team going into meetings and just having the crack with them. And what do you need for your business? Right, Fergal, John, we'll sort it, whatever. We're sitting there for about an hour, 2 hours, chatting to them.
So just a natural
Business-wise.
progression,
Business
It
wise,
didn't really work.
it didn't work, as you can tell. But it was some
Tell me
crack.
more. Why couldn't we tell?
It was some crack. It was some crack, and because of that kind of, I suppose, like rapport me and Fergal had, we always were, even before we finished with the last business, we were like, I'd love to start a podcast. We'd love to start a podcast, just me and him, or whatever. Let's figure it out. And we were kind of like gelling all these ideas of podcasts we like together, and to try to make it our own. What do we like about Joe Rogan gets a bad name for himself, but like he is the king in a sense of what he created, and he does all these different
Like get an absolute fortune from Spotify.
Oh, yeah,
like,
100%.
for like a 10-year deal or something.
and he is this amazing.
Just 100
He has these amazing guests that come on. That the guests are the important thing.
Like Donald Trump.
That's maybe.
That won him an
You
election.
never
Maybe.
know.
Won him an
So
election.
that's the argument to say that. Like,
Put it down as it did.
But like that's the thing. Me and Fergal had all these different podcasts, and we're like, let's make this our own. Let's do whatever we want with it, and then.
And to essentially just do whatever you want on it.
Which
Kinda.
is why people love it, though.
I think the world is very fake, these days with social media and all those different realms of people pretending to be different things, and everything's like kind of taboo to talk about, and all that wokeism, as people would mention. And me and Fergal, especially the first 5 episodes, nobody listened to them. Me and Fergal were chatting about everything and anything. And this was 2 weeks after we'd finished up with the business.
Which we'll maybe come to later on. maybe.
So like it was raw. It was first 5 episodes were very raw. Like it was like, Fergal, how are you feeling? John, how are you feeling? Like it was literally humanizing in a sense. Probably a
Which
bit of
it
therapy
speaks
too.
to people, though, too.
Yeah.
On a more human level and a fake level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like sometimes people, you hear like, oh, you need to watch what you say and stuff. And I've always been like, no, if there's any time that I say something, or I don't know about Fergal or Jude or whatever, but whenever I say something or think something, I'm going to say it. And then if I get a time to to maybe reflect on it a wee bit and think I was wrong, I'll mention it. I'll mention it maybe in the next podcast, or I'll maybe if it ever comes around to it, like Fergal, I'll be here, mind that episode with him. I was wrong about that.
we're all human, though. I think
That's
sometimes
it.
you say.
Right, in the heat of the moment,
That's it.
maybe
Sometimes you
you're
say
annoyed
something.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
And I think not even annoyed, but if maybe if you opinion on something, and I think like we need to be a bit less harsh on ourselves for whenever we do think something, and we should be able to give ourselves time to reflect on it, and if you can change your mind, then why not?
Yeah.
I think it's nice to have the video, though, too, because the way you hear radio presenters and you're like, I wonder what they look like, or you try and be like, what do you think their hair
now-
colour is,
Yeah.
or whatever. And it's nice that you can see them and
Definitely got
put a face
scarier,
to the name,
actually. I think it got scarier, like for sure, when people actually know what you look like.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But then maybe it was, as you say, safer for them. They could go about their business. No one knew who they were as such.
That's it.
Yeah,
So it's a bit more strange.
definitely.
But we'll go back to the very beginning.
Yes. Very, very beginning. I don't know whether to go all the way back to like whenever you were nippers.
If you want.
Where was like first stead for you? Like where were you
Well,
from?
Yours is interesting.
My
I'm sure
life.
yours is fertile too.
But where you grew up,
Born in Magherafelt, Mid Ulster Hospital.
You
Can't remember what bit it was.
up in Mid Ulster Hospital.
Good spot. Clina actually works there now. She got a job there recently.
brilliant.
So
That's
she's
right.
there now. And she's
that's
close,
so handy.
So
close to home
handy.
and a lot handier for her, which is class. But I was born there, 1991. I was born
Me and you see
into
made show, that's good.
I was born into the Beatty family, and my mother and father, they spent a lot of years in America, maybe 15 years. They had my brother. They came home, and they bought they leased a bar. They got word there was a bar at home in Magherafelt.
What bar was it?
A Step In on Rainy Street.
Okay.
And I think it was
Fergal's laughing as if he knows what's coming.
No, it's just every time we walk past it, John was like, I grew up there.
It's now a running joke. Like,
It's like one of those dads. I put a riff in that house there. I did that house here.
That's basically what it's like now. Everybody takes it this way. But anyway, I so I grew up in that pub anyway. So yeah,
Explains a lot.
I grew up. So we lived above the pub.
That's
we
so
lived
cool.
above
Isn't it?
the two floors. When me and my brother, my mother and father ran the bar. They were up and down looking after us in the pub, and I was down having the crack everybody.
class.
I
And
love that.
my granddad used to come in, used to see him smoking cigars in the corner.
Oh, that's so special,
having
though.
the crack. Yeah. Look, when I look back now, as you say, Keith, it kind of makes a lot of sense. Like, I've been chatting shite for years. And,
That's where you picked it up from the
probably
bar.
where I picked it up. Just going around and the
the
place,
fumes
the
probably
place,
at that age
aye,
probably feel it.
the smoke just seeping up through the
It's probably back
ceiling.
then people did smoke in the
Oh
bar.
yeah,
you know.
I remember
yeah.
coming in from school, just going into the front door of the step-in bar. Couldn't see my granda from across the room.
No
and I
way,
was,
it was so smoky.
he was just smoking these big cigars, like, and
Deadly.
just sitting in the corner,
But I
like.
bet you if somebody was smoking a cigar out in the street now and you smelled it, you'd be able to
Oh,
tell.
yeah.
what
Take you
cigar
right
was.
back. It'd be
Nostalgia,
lovely.
like, I'd know the make of it. No. What about you?
Where are you
Oh
from?
no, I wanted you to tell the story of you and Kleina.
Oh yes. So there's an old story.
So I've heard all these
Kleina's
stories
John's
before.
wife, everybody is.
Kleina's my wife. It might be a bit of a myth, but I think there's some truth in it. So my mother and father ran the pub. Kleina's mother and father would have been in the pub the odd time. They would have been
This is
customers.
state story, is it?
Customers.
Okay.
This was an old school story here, and Kleina and the family used to come in. Just sisters used to come into the pub with Mary and Andy, and supposedly me and Kleina shared our first kiss
Oh, that's so
under,
cute.
under the pool table. It might have been her sister, but
Let's hopefully not.
but I think it was Kleina. So that's
And that's
supposedly
so
that's
lovely.
supposedly that's where we first met. But we definitely I barely remember, but we definitely sort of hung around with each other when we were kids, unknowingly. Just years
I
and
love
years
that
and years
because
ago.
that's, well, we didn't hang about together with kids, but we ran in same
Oh, they're
circles,
mutual
but just
friends.
kept crisscrossing each other and never.
I thought
Were you not stalking her? Is that not what the story goes?
pretty much, but people kept telling me, oh, like whenever I moved down to the estate, but Alex had moved out of up in the Grange, and they would have been like, oh, you need to go out to Alex Ferguson's parties, and I was like, I've never heard of him. Who is he? Do you know what I mean? I kept missing him.
Says Alex.
Yeah.
Manager United, yeah.
Apparently, Alex Ferguson had the lethal house parties.
Deadly.
Back in
Never
the
been
day.
to one. Still haven't been to
But
one.
that's so cute, John. I love that. That's definitely a meant to be sort of story.
It seems to be, yeah, definitely something a bit different.
It's cute.
I hope that was in your wedding speech.
It was, yeah. I think
I hope
so.
you left it. The part of it might have been her sister.
Yeah.
No, I left it in.
Of course you did.
And Fergal, what about you?
Mine isn't as interesting, to be honest. I grew up in a normal house.
Not a pop.
Yeah, not a pub.
Oh, damn,
I was going
Fergal.
to make up. I was like, grew up in a post office or something. I don't know.
On a boat.
In a boat. No, but I lived in Lavey, Gulliduff originally, and then
Blowing.
yeah, and my father was reared in a place called Rocktown, which is just outside Niclaren. It's literally
Okay.
just
I've never heard of it.
down the road from that bar that Yin's met.
The Bentley?
The Bentley.
Yes,
The
uh-huh.
Von Bentley.
And yeah, so he has a farm there. Dad was a farmer originally, and then we went from Gulliduff whenever Dad built us a house, and then we moved to the home place, the farm, and yeah, we lived. I think I was
Fergal's
12.
fancy. Fergal had a house built for him.
Lovely.
No, well, it's a lot easier back then. I'm trying.
I'd
I'm trying to
say
build one
so.
now, and it's just.
Not ideal.
We
It's
know a
not
good
happening.
architect if you need one, though. That's McCann's your woman if you need an architect.
Oh right, okay.
I'd say it's hard work, Fergal, building a house.
I just got a site pass there, and
Well, that's a good start. That's like.
and then I'm trying to like figure out how to the next part.
Would you give me a wee corner, would you?
You're more.
a wee
you're
room
welcome.
just for John.
A wee corner.
Well, I was thinking like definitely having a podcast space in it would be
You're
good.
talking-
Office/podcast space. Would
What
be
is your
definitely
like
good.
must have in your like you're going to build this house? What do you really, really, really want?
Do you know what's weird? I want a balcony.
Oh, lovely. Like,
Yeah,
from your
I want-
bedroom or like just
Just even from the front, like an old
Lovely.
school, like,
Like
you
a
know,
veranda,
Yellowstone.
like-
we,
oh, yes.
we were talking
Or
Yellowstone.
a wee rock chair.
Like a wee rocking
Oh, I
chair.
love that.
Have a dog.
Shotgun.
Shot. Yeah. Smoking a wee
Cigars.
cigar in the evening.
Bad
You know.
attitude.
I can imagine
Exactly.
you doing that.
doesn't
Actually.
that sound so lovely?
That's
though?
what I want. Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
know
love that.
this environment, the weather here is probably doesn't really.
Here, if you've got a roof, it's okay.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm thinking. If there's a roof, and my brother, he's an architect technician, he's saying the way he can design it, sort of like,
Maybe for the
we could
whatever way the
block
wind
out
is.
the wind or
Yes.
something. There's some way around
I love that.
But that's what I want.
Well,
Like,
we put a patio out the back with, like a pergola. Is it called a pergola? Pergola? What?
With
Pergola?
a roof and then
We put a plastic sheet roof on it, and I was like, that's perfect.
uh-huh.
Nah,
No,
catches the wind.
it's not gonna
It
do it.
perfectly catches the
We
wind.
lived in a really windy estate, and like it might not be windy down at the bottom of the hill, but up there it is blowing
like
a
Mount
breeze.
Everest.
Like last night was ridiculous.
That's the same with Rocktown. It's very,
that'll be
very
lovely.
windy. But that's
We
the
didn't.
dream.
We didn't get an architect. We was like, here, look, it'd be better in that corner because the oil tank's in that corner.
But he's
Didn't
still
need planning permission for
that. Hopefully not.
Yeah, but your man, you see, it was Robbie Brown. Whenever he came out, and he was like, "How big do you want it?" And I was like, "Well, tell me, how big's the bits wood you be buying?" And he was like, "Oh, like 3.8." And I was like, "Well, 3.8 then. I don't want any waste."
Then he was building. I was like, Keith, that looks really big.
Looks like a half a boat in the back garden. It's massive.
It all came together when it was all done. It was a great job. It's like
Beautiful.
another room, so it's great.
In the summer, it's like another room. In the winter, it's just not.
It's not.
used, like,
It's not
nah.
used.
No, well, all the best for that for glass. Very exciting.
Yeah. No. Well, here it's like a
It's a journey, isn't it?
3-year, 5-year
But
project.
What's the
it'll be
rush?
perfect.
But that's the end goal, just to have like a home base. That's the goal.
Lovely.
And it'd be nice to have it like where the family grew up, where
So
my
nice.
dad grew up. And the site's nice. It's on the hill of the field.
The new labour tax won't affect you then, would it?
Huh?
The new labour tax bill won't affect you, would it?
I've no idea.
Hey, worry about them when he comes to them.
Oh.
That's-
I'm not telling you.
Very
But there's a
exciting.
petition going around. I signed it, so it's
Okay, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah,
yeah.
so that's kind of the goal at the minute. But I mean, it's a dream
I
almost.
know.
It feels like a dream at the
But
minute.
it'll be
'cause
so
I
worth the
can't-
wait, though.
It's not a dream, lad. You'll do it. It'll be grand.
It's a
Yeah.
dream that will come true, and it'll be
I
worth
think
it.
so. I think so. Even if it's like a 1-bedroom tiny house.
But the porch should be lovely. You know?
So you need a balcony.
Exactly.
Solar panels on the roof.
Like I'm
off
not
grid.
that tall. I don't need. I'm like this size. That's all I need.
It's gonna be covered in a duvet. Stick you in it.
Yeah.
We
no.
fold out bed, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, but that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
And it was
I've
nice
never heard
moving.
of Rocktown before. at all.
Yeah, it's the middle of nowhere. Like it's a road, pretty much.
Is that near
But-
rock lighting, or is that? Oh, that's something else I'm thinking of.
I don't know where you
Yeah.
I'm a completely different town.
But
How
yeah.
did you? That sounds weird because it sounds like you're a couple. How did you two meet?
Well, we might as well just tell the start of the story. So we met through Shady Dolphin, actually.
Yeah.
Not a
So-
dating app or anything, no? Not a dating app or anything, no?
No, back then it was MSN.
Ah, yes.
Sending
Sending
him
me like
nudges.
nudges.
I was with at dinner and he was sending me nudges. No, so
Fergus like I can't remember.
I'm trying to
MSN.
think if they existed back then. You're probably right.
No, I'm the same age as John. I definitely used MSN when I was around that age.
I bit of
Yeah.
nudging.
I didn't.
all
We
right.
didn't have the internet because we were in a council estate.
Oh, poor
It
fella.
was one of those internets where like I need to use the phone, and you had to like write up,
Ah,
be
yeah, yeah.
right
You know when you
back.
say per fella, one of the lads put into we're in a wee group chat with the lads I used to work with, and they were talking about you still using the ice bath? I was like, aye, every day and stuff. He's like, oh, I get in the shower, and turn it on, and that's cold till it warms up. And I was like, oh, back in the day, mine just never warmed up.
Stop it. No, you're
they're
silly
like-
boy.
You did it before it was cool.
They think I got it really hard. Like. But so back.
Sorry, yeah. So I met Fergal at this near the very beginning of Shady Dolphin. So I started Shady Dolphin out of university, basically. I had a wee job in between that, and I basically my father passed away actually 10 years ago this year, and that was the same year I had started it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like when something like that happens, it's kind of like what am I doing with myself? That sort of way. And a lot of people, that happens with a lot of people when a significant thing happens. You reflect a bit. And I was like, I kind of want to do my own thing. I don't like the idea where my degree could have took me, for example. So I did IT and a bit of computer science, and I was like, I'm not really fussed on that. So founded firstly I started to do web and wasn't very good at it, and then I had a friend that I had at school, a fellow Ryan Convery, And he says, "Do you want a hand with it?" Because I actually started getting very busy. I started going around Magherafelt and just offering, free websites to people. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, definitely. Who turns down a free website?" So got the ball rolling with that. And then Ryan was there, and me and him were there. And we were both like, "Fuck, we don't really have." Sorry about the language. We don't really have. Edit that out.
Swear jar one.
We don't really
Where's
have.
the jar?
So me and
It's
Ryan
gonna
at
be
the
that
time,
small for we not see it.
we didn't have much of a design head on us, and we were like, right, we need to find someone who can help us with the design elements. And Fergal was a friend of Ryan's, and we just put the call out on Facebook. And it was just like, is any graphic designers out there want to help basically a startup with no money to do something? And then we met.
And then
Ed
for us, like me.
Fergal appeared with probably the same kind of
Energy.
fire and energy that
That's
that
exciting.
me and Ryan had at the time.
Because when I first heard of Shady Dolphin, you were the first one I picture whenever I think about it.
Why is that?
Because he's dodgy, dodgy looking.
No.
Sure.
I was so unsure of the name whenever he first said it as
The
well.
Shady Dolphin?
Shady Dolphin.
And how
I was
did you
like,
come up
why
with the
would
name,
Shady?
John?
Why would
I
Shady
never-
be in a business name?
Yeah, you want people to
Yeah.
take on your business and call it shady.
Yeah, I never actually told anybody. I remember not telling anybody in the
Where the
meetings.
name
Like,
come
there was
from.
people.
That's
people I think some people wanted us to come in and talk to them because they're like, who are these guys? Like, who calls their business Shady Dolphin? Like, how are they still?
But it's catchy and memorable,
It's very strange. Like,
Where'd the name come
It
from?
worked really well.
It's a secret, right?
It is actually a secret. It is.
Well, that's
but
okay.
You've
We'll
told
not-
a few people.
we'll
haven't
not
told a
push
few
it.
people. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say. I'll say someday. I'll say someday. But it came to me at a certain point, and then the name stuck or whatever. And then I met Fergal. We met him in the auction room in Magherafelt. That was kind of
right,
like
yeah.
that was kind of like a wee base for me at the time.
That was a great wee coffee.
It was great.
Lethal, shout out to Neil,
Yeah.
Neil and Abby. They're our neighbours as well. Like fantastic.
Neil's lovely, isn't he?
Fantastic
Such a
people.
nice guy.
I really want Neil to come on the podcast at some stage. Our own, sorry, at some stage.
He's on our list.
That was my home base, and then it kind of became our kind of wee meeting area. Me and Fergal and Ryan, and Fergal just came through the door.
You just knew.
Had a portfolio there, and you could just feel the sort of, I don't know, like the gravitas, the warmth from him that he was.
But that happens, so
He
when
was
you
like,
meet someone, you just know.
He was just like, let's do this,
That's so funny. I'm just thinking now, why did I have a portfolio for you guys? Like, I
so
was more
organised.
qualified than both of you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like you want me, like
Exactly. I should have been
Yeah.
coming in with boss attitude. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No, I really didn't.
100%. But
Please
then
take me, please
I mean,
take me.
I don't know you for having an ego like that. Like I have.
No.
No,
It's
so down
just,
to earth
it's
and so,
just
like-
not. It's just not in me. It's
So I
not
used to
in
see
me.
you coming down out, the wee red door beside the pet shop.
Yeah,
When
that
I
was our
first-
final
Yeah.
office.
I used
Yeah.
to see you all come down as a collective late in the evenings always.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
He's always laughing away and cracking
Oh,
away.
some crap.
We had the best time at Shady
It
Dolphin.
was good fun.
And that means so much in a workplace, you know.
Yeah,
a job.
definitely.
You built it. You were in it for years.
Yeah,
So
the
what was
business.
it? 7
7 years. We
7
grew
years.
the business.
That's a credit to you as
And like
well.
you were
you know.
doing work for like the Gal Gormans.
Jaguar, yeah.
It was a
Big-
bit
big
nuts
clients.
as well. Like it was kind
Tom
of like
Morrison.
and Tom Morrison as well. Yeah, I think it was like we grew the business 3 times every year.
Fantastic.
Like, and there was just such a funness to it, and like
Yeah.
risk, and you were waking up on edge in the morning.
But risk and reward, though.
risk and reward, but
I couldn't do that.
more risk than anything. But it was just like when people feel like they're floating on air.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we were floating on air. I felt like there was just like fire under us constantly. But it was a fire that I just really, really enjoyed. I like really, really
Ah, you
enjoyed.
thrived off
I
it.
thrived it. I really thrived it. And like at one time, like we had maybe 30. We were looking after maybe 30 clients at a time, and it was just some juggling match. Like, and it was
Yeah,
absolutely nuts.
stressful, like that's.
Oh, yeah.
That's
you
the
know,
thing. It was like
It was taking
Like it wasn't an easy job. You had
constantly taking its toll, like on everybody involved. Like and
You don't realize you're burning on, like you're living
Not
on
to your
stress
right,
and adrenaline
No.
until
No.
until there's that, like it just
Yeah.
the dump that comes after. it.
Yeah, there was a few fucking mental breakdowns along the way.
There's
like,
times I've spent 2 days in bed.
It happens. It definitely
Yeah.
happens, and it happened. It happened to us all. Like we were all battling with our own things within the business. Like because we were, you're because you were growing so quick, especially at 3 times per year. You were breaking things. Like we were breaking our own mechanisms in the business, and then we were like, we need to fix that quick. We need to solve that quick.
Yeah.
So like we were just like constant problem solvers. Just
Because your customers weren't going to wait on you to fix.
No,
they
that's
were
it.
always
No.
demanding,
that's it. And the bigger we got, the bigger the problems got. But then, like, we became problem solvers, and then I know towards near the end, we became, a lot more accustomed to it, and we felt more that we could handle the problems a lot quicker. Still stressful, but we could definitely handle them in a more sort of measured way, I suppose.
But just also growing up, because like you say, that was straight out of university. Like, you're still young,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
you're
was.
going through life, learning everything.
You're still
and
young
doing
now.
this.
Yeah, I
John's
think,
age, we're still young. Yes,
I
we're
think
still
it was.
young.
Looking back now, I think it was absolutely nuts what we did.
Do you miss it?
I miss.
I miss the crack in the
I miss the
office.
crack in the office. I miss the people. I miss the team.
We had such a lovely
miss
like
the people.
family sort of environment
Yeah,
going
we
on.
did.
in
That's
that
so hard to get.
We
workplace.
did, and I see other workplaces now, and I see like jobs coming up for businesses, and I see them very rigid in what they want from people and,
Yeah.
and where they're at, and and what they're going to give them and all, and I just look back at the way we sort of
That was the one thing I think we did absolutely right.
yeah, we did it completely right.
Not that we did other things right.
Yeah.
but I'm saying like that's probably the best thing we did.
I know business, we're a family, but we were very, very, because of the way we came into the business in such a natural way, with me and Fergal just being the way we are, and it was just kind of like, we're just going to treat people as people when they come into the business, and if we feel you're doing a really good job, let's put your salary up. We're not going to wait a year or 3 months down the line and
I
stuff.
buy them a gift, or like, well
buy,
done,
buy
sort
them
of
a
thing.
gift, or just
Give
really
them a day off, sort of thing.
But
or-
I think more
Yeah.
importantly than that was us going to them like, what do you want to do? Like
Yeah.
you're in this role, but how do you see your role shaping
Yeah.
out, or what way do you want your job to kind of?
yeah.
And we kind of, especially you
Yeah.
you were like,
I-
you were more hands on with the employees.
Aye, well,
with
the thing
regards to
with that was, I don't know. I think we were sort of hippies at the same time during it, where we came a few years into the business. We were very much like, we're enjoying what we're doing here. We've some of our core services, but there's so much other stuff we could be doing here and enjoy. And the thing with creative people is you kind of want to keep their fire burning with those creative projects and those in their lives as well. Because if they can get that creativeness in their job, they'll be happier people. They'll go home and won't feel as much as work.
Yeah.
So we had people that came into roles, and they were certainly good on paper and portfolio at certain aspects, but we were constantly asking them, like, what do you enjoy? Like, what do you enjoy doing? Maybe it's completely different from what you're doing now, or maybe it's a sidestep into another role in the business. But like, ultimately, is there something you feel you could be happier in doing? And we were such a multidisciplinary business that we had so many realms of graphic design, animation, video, marketing.
You were open to trying
that
for
we,
them,
that, that we were able to my kind of role was to go out and find that work. So there was a moment that happened in the business, in the New Year office, and there was like everybody was sitting around, and me and Fergal were there, and it was kind of like we went around each person and goes, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to get out of working here? And like, what kind of projects do you want to work on in a creative way? And they were telling us, and I was like, right, we'll try and get you that. Like, we're active.
That's so good as
we're
employers to do that.
actively trying to get that. And I think that's that's obviously one of the things we did right. And
There's a lot to be said going to work happy and going home happy, though.
yeah, and I think me and Fergal were always thinking that way. Like, is everybody happy? And are we making this a place that people want to come to? And like, there's a few of them didn't want us, or there's a few we always joke, like, as I said, me and Fergal were sitting around for hours after, but some of them stayed just for a
the crack.
bit of crack and stuck on the kettle or a cup of tea, like, and we know.
And that says a lot,
Yeah,
about
well,
yourselves,
So we used to joke, like, we used to keep them later on, like, but they wanted, some of them wanted to stay. They wanted, like, they maybe had a wee bit of time and they fancied chit chat and a bit of crack with us and stuff, and it was such a safe sort of environment to allow that to happen, and you got the most out of
Safe
people.
space.
And there was an episode, I don't know, we were chatting to someone on, and we were talking about like what the business kind of ended up being, and it felt like a community group at the end. Like, it did feel like it felt like we were, the people that were coming in, like, we were giving them an opportunity to come in and like figure out what they wanted to do with themselves. Like, it mightn't have been Shady Dolphin, it might have been something else.
I mean, you just were willing to help them and everything,
Willing, we weren't thinking like that, but that's kind of what it ended up being, and people moved on from the business now, and they're in like really top-notch roles.
Brilliant.
And when some of them went into those roles, the people couldn't believe, the spectrum of stuff that they were involved in before.
But you just had a real role in that, so I'm sure you feel amazing that you had
Aye.
a chance to help people
Yeah, definitely.
pursue different roles, that other places might not have let them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
No, I think we tainted them a bit as well, because any other job they go into, it's
And they're
Aye.
stuck in one thing.
this is
yeah.
like this
Yeah, I
isn't
know.
this isn't the same crack.
This is what it is. You do this every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't divert from the
You start at
plan.
9, you home at 5.
They're
you get 30
definitely.
minutes for lunch.
Yeah, we definitely heard that feedback as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
But sure, well,
It's always
The
going to be a
good
good
or the
memory
bad.
and last on them too. Like.
100%.
Are we allowed to talk about what happened and why
Yeah,
Shady Dolphins
yeah.
no more?
We can.
So we were saying,
Aye, we were saying, that's not very natural. It should have just been me starting to talk.
Yeah, just yourself,
Anyway,
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
we wouldn't have to stop only if somebody has a bladder of a 3-year-old.
I definitely has a chance for that.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we grew the business quite quick and probably very aggressively in a sense.
Yeah.
And towards the end, we were, as I says, we were still gaining a lot of traction and very, very busy. And then I think at the tail end of it, COVID obviously happened, and we shut actually nearly 2 years after COVID had began. And the year before, or they say the December before that we had shut, we were probably doing the biggest numbers we'd ever done. We had the highest staff we'd ever done. I think we had maybe 8 staff in total. And I think when it came to maybe March, April time, at this stage, all the clients that we were working with, they maybe had grants or loans or financially they were holding on to their purses to figure out, what's actually happening
after
this
COVID,
year.
yeah.
Which is completely understandable, at the same time. And
It's safe.
it was one of them things, probably in hindsight, we didn't forecast. We didn't think ahead that far. I don't think anybody could have.
No, we didn't know COVID or that whole lockdown.
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
was
And
gonna
then
happen.
that year, it started, the news and the media and everything got very doom and gloom. And every newspaper you seen, it was just basically telling businesses and telling everybody, expenses are up and money is down. Hold on to your purses. And one of the first things that people hold on to is your marketing budget. They're like, let's just get back to our bricks and mortar store. We'll look after the website. And I think we had maybe 20 to 30 projects that just all stopped. Midway maybe. And that was kind of just the sort of end of us in that way. In what was it, 7 years? And I just think in the end, we ran out of the right ingredients to really see it through and see the end of the business in a nicer way. But that's just the way
You
things
nearly
happen.
cheated out of the end, nearly with COVID and
A
everything.
wee bit. I think so. A wee bit. Yeah.
I think there was maybe a point there where there was a bit of a burnout
Yeah.
factor.
You
coming
were,
into it
it
as
nearly
well.
maybe done you a favour though. You
Yeah.
were,
Living off stress and adrenaline.
I
was
think
the
so.
dump.
It pushed
I
you to
think so.
rest.
My health was terrible, and there's a few others as well that weren't great, and probably Fergal too. Mentally strained. I think I was in the hospital twice over those 7 years.
That's right.
So it's nearly
I
a
was-
blessing in disguise, really.
Yeah,
as such.
yeah.
Hospital.
I was taken by an ambulance a couple of times for stress and for heart problems and different things like that, and that was just basically pushing myself too far and
Trying to please too many people.
please too many people, take too much stress on, and that was probably one of the worst, probably one of my weaknesses was, I think anybody I met or any clients we met, we really took them in and like really, really kind of consumed everything about their business and
Yeah.
and my role.
And it's a hard thing not to consume
It's hard
those sort of things.
it's hard to switch off when you're thinking about all your clients and how they're
We keep
doing.
sitting at
and
midnight and just thinking.
Yeah.
thinking about them, thinking about us too, obviously too, and I just think, I think in the end, and I've no qualms about saying this, I felt a relief when it happened. It was definitely when it happened, very, very sad, and
Bittersweet.
and it was emotional, and it hit us hard. It hit us all very, very hard, but there was a relief there as well for me. Anyway, there was my shoulders didn't feel as as heavy, and it kind of gave me a wee bit of me personally. Anyway, don't know what you for. It'll give me just kind of like perspective on everything I'd learnt over the last 7 years, the skills I'd gained at that level and at that speed, and I have a chance here to rewrite that. I have a chance to not rewrite what I did, but like I have a chance to take everything I've learnt here and just
turn it.
make sure that what I do next is what I love,
Yeah.
and to not rush it. And that's kind of what I did after. I kind of took my time. What about you, Ferks?
Yeah, I don't know. There was part of me that kind of felt like I probably wanted to fight to keep it a wee bit more than John did, but I feel like there was a bit more weight on John's shoulders when it came to that, because you were dealing with the clients a lot more, probably a lot more stress to deal with that, whereas
You maybe weren't taking on as much in your
I was,
mind. as
yeah,
such.
well, I was doing the design work, and like I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it.
I've
and
seen it on TikTok. Like
thanks.
you do love it.
It's good
That
fun.
World one was
Yeah,
very good.
yeah.
And, like, the fact that you even went down and like they seen your work up in massive.
It's so
billboards,
cool, like
so
it's
cool.
so cool. But yeah, like my job is so much fun.
His job's Canva.
Exactly. Yeah.
Be jealous.
No, but I didn't realize how much work went into it. I watched your wee tutorial videos you do. You know, like
Yeah,
if you see
yeah.
a-
So time consuming though for
It is. It is. That's one thing me and John were kind of discussing there about my business. It's like I want to figure out a way of, you know, that everyone talks about passive income. This is the dream these days, and that's
Have you seen my vending machine down here? I'm all about passive.
it's virtually impossible for me.
Because you need so hands on.
Yeah, it's so hands on.
But the thing about me and you is that we've seen so many business models over the years. It's incredible,
Yeah.
and we know how they all work, and we've dealt with so many like online, offline, bricks and mortar. I'd say there's an industry we've definitely, you know, rarely have not worked in.
Yes.
Mm.
You know, or seen, because for me and Fergal going to those meetings and dealing with them clients and even clients we didn't get, we were going in and we're getting tours of their factory, tours of their
Learn all behind the
processes,
scenes.
So much fun.
learning
Yeah.
everything.
But one
And
thing about entrepreneurs and business people, they love talking about their thing.
oh yeah,
Probably
yeah.
learned so much in
Oh,
that
like-
meeting
And
or
like
2
they are
hours.
the
you know.
SMEs on it.
we were leaving. You were leaving places and just thinking,
Wow.
I'd love to run that business,
Yeah.
or I could run that business better, or I wouldn't run this business at all. I'd shut it down now. So like you were getting into all these different businesses and you were learning how it all worked, and even the online things about revenue and stuff. So like me and Fergal are constantly and we chat to Jude about it too, like just about all these, you know, ways that we could do that. It takes time. You want to do
Did
it
you
right.
work in Shady?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Jude's a good friend from
He's a nice
He's got
guy.
roped in now.
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah. Well, how it started was he messaged. We put a message out. John, you put
Again, another message out, and we found someone. We put a message.
Facebook's a wonderful
We
thing.
put a message out, but I think he had heard our audio,
and he was really annoyed
he's really
by the
annoyed.
audio, but also how we
Such
kept
the
on.
quality of it, he was annoyed at how bad it
Pretty
was.
much,
Right?
and
Aye.
how much
No, he was,
mistakes, how much mistakes we were making
Aye.
in the podcast. There was something we asked a question about how many
so
legs
pissed.
in the spider.
Many legs in the spider.
Eight.
Very good.
Exactly. But he said it was 7, and then I was like, no, it's 8,
say
and then we
7.
didn't know
John,
the right
come
answer.
on.
Say 7. I answered.
No, the one that gets me what was heavier, a house cat or a bag of sugar.
Aye.
I still don't know the answer to that one.
Depends how well you feed the cat.
There was stuff like that there that was just. I
Yeah.
think he was driving home, listening to our podcast, just screaming at it.
Sometimes
was.
Darren's like that. He's like, you know, your video's moving too much, or you're jolting or something. I'm like, no, we're doing our best.
I'm seeing mouthing over the camera. Stop moving.
That actually it brings us back to whenever we met up with the Flax. So me and Fergal were basically turfed out of his apartment, went over to the Flax. Flax is a much bigger room.
Yeah.
And
So cozy though.
I know.
yeah,
Fire
it's
in it,
nice and
it's
cozy. And the audio, we were in Shady Dolphin for 7 years. We hadn't a clue about audio, so we're like, how do
That
we
was
sort
one thing
this?
we outsourced that.
We outsourced that all the time, and we were in with it. We were in that room, and we just couldn't get it right. It was very echoey. It was really bad, and we were getting people complaining. We were,
There's so much to it, isn't
like
there?
we had about 3 episodes where people were complaining about them.
Oh, they were cutting in
Like
and
fair
out
play
and
to them, they were still listening, but we admittedly says, look, we are sorry guys, this audio is shite, and we get that. We're working on it,
Don't know
but
how to
like
fix it.
we kept filming anyway.
And next week, oh yeah, audio's still bad.
Next
Just
week's
keep
still
listening.
bad, but we still want to have conversation. And as Fergal said there, Jude would be a friend of a friend. You'd be friendly with Jude anyway.
Yeah, I went to school with Jude's older brother, and then
You didn't kiss him, did you?
no, but we always would go to his house and was well close with his whole family.
Right.
So and then Joe was my youngest brother, and my 2 younger brothers, Michael and Joe, are while friendly with you. So it's kind of just a family. So
Which makes it nice, you know.
yeah. So
Definitely.
And he just, because he hated the audio. And
He's
Pretty
like,
much
I'll
he-
do it, not a problem.
He's pissed off with basically me and the audio, and probably Fergal a wee bit too. Was so I put up a post saying, is there anybody out there that would maybe give us a shout about audio, like just give us advice. Like we just want, like we're very much, you know, if we have a problem we go out and find it, you know, who can we ask to give us the answer. And we had a few sound guys that we knew from like TV sets and stuff, and they were trying to help us from afar. But then Jude reached out and just like, I think he reached out to you maybe, and he was like, oh, here, I'll come in and we'll look at what you're doing, and I can lend you some gear to get it sorted. So I think at the start we were kind of like, oh, Jude, come on in and show us, and then
you can.
and then now you just follow
you can
him.
fag off, and then but
He never left.
he never left. But we're very glad.
loves it.
We're very glad for it. Like he's an absolute resource of a man, and
such a nice guy.
you should actually hear the knowledge that he has behind the camera. Like we.
You give him a microphone.
It's stuff that you maybe thought you knew everything as such, and then he's just like,
How
enlightening
dare
them.
you, Alex? How dare you?
But just from your past experience, you know,
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, like
Should
this.
soon call you out on it.
No, but he's very good. He's kind
That's
of
why I'm so humble.
he's kind of like our he kind of like fact checks us in a sense. Like I would come up with something, or Fergal would say something, and Jude behind he'd be like,
Google just.
he'd be sitting there like, or he wouldn't even Google. He'd be like, no, nobody can hear him, but he'd be just sitting complaining like, what are you talking
The
about?
best is when he starts giggling behind him. He knows we fucked up
Starts
or
giggling.
something.
But no, we would love Jude actually on the mic a lot more.
But he not big
Maybe
one
he's
for it.
nervous.
He is the all time. No, not really. I think he likes to be in the background, but we're doing it actually. We haven't done it yet, but we're doing a Christmas special,
Yeah.
and it's just going to be us three. And
Oh, that's nice.
Jude's going to be on the sofa or on one of the chairs. It's going to be like our Christmas do, and we're gonna shoot it.
You know, you should just have an open bar the whole time
Oh, aye, that's what it is. Yeah,
and just get absolutely steaming.
yeah, that's what we're doing.
that
Have
might
a
be
few
the
drinks
plan.
before
I
it
don't know.
starts, so you're halfway on.
Yeah,
I can be
don't
the
know.
guy behind the camera fact checking. I'm powerful on chat.
That'll be lovely. Now that'll be really nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have Jude on with us as well. Like,
Because once you get Jude chatting, like he's
just
honestly,
getting started.
absolute fountain of knowledge.
he's
Well, funny,
some
we-
crack.
Fountain of
Our,
knowledge.
for our Christmas special last year, we brought on Darren, and Darren is a fountain of knowledge when it
See
comes to that
these
stuff.
background boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, come on, Darren, have
He's
we
nearly had to
you know?
fight the microphone off him, hasn't he?
Get to know the man behind the camera.
But
So you
aye.
can go back and watch that episode because he is a gentleman.
But aye. So
We don't even like these podcasts. We just like Darren, so we just keep like
just his presence.
It's so nice that you have found things, you know, that you can go and enjoy, and it's not like work to you.
Yeah, that's
and you got to keep that relationship from Shady Dolphin,
That's
you
it,
know.
Well, that's exactly why the podcast started. Was us.
And you just
going-
missed each
like,
other,
miss
you know?
each other. Aye.
Yeah, we've seen each other every day for 7 years,
That's a big-
literally every day.
And then gone.
And then
that's a
that's
big loss,
that
though.
completely stopped, and then I was like,
I know your pain. Hey?
and I'm a terrible friend. Like I honestly asked any of them,
He's really bad for
If you're not seeing me every day,
if you're not seeing me,
in a
you'll
week or
never
whatever.
see me.
You
Like,
see, if I open the group chat that the lads I used to work with, it's called DELFs for a start, right? You see, because
You're very good to yourself.
Aye, aren't they just either?
wasn't me that named it that.
Oh, okay.
You see, if
Okay, Keith.
you know, you can see all your chats are in green and everyone else's are like just the other side of it. You'll see it, and it's just me sending reels or messaging how
you're
are you
that guy,
today.
yeah.
No one replies to me.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
call out to you.
Which is so shocked
All
because like,
bags.
never replies to my messages or send me loads of stuff like that. I'm like, come on.
I am your
You'd have
friends.
to
I am your friends when it comes to that. Like I very, very rarely reply
Why?
to people.
Why? What are you doing that's so important to you?
Just a wee emoji, you know, like a wee heart or something for sitting on the
don't
toilet,
know.
you know.
Just, I'm going to give Stephen Bartlett a shout out because he watches this podcast. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're podcasters. Remember the group chat we're
Oh,
doing?
he definitely does.
And, like Stephen Bartlett said,
does.
you should start treating your friends as important as you do your work. So if you
No,
have
I
a,
know,
if you have
yeah.
a work thing scheduled, you'll move everything to get that work scheduled. Or if you have your friends scheduled, you'll move your friends because work gets involved. So
Yeah.
you should treat them like.
Aye, Fergal.
If you put
No,
it in
you're-
the
you're
calendar,
right.
you know.
But that's what we did.
That's
We scheduled
Schedule
time.
your
We made
podcast,
sure
that's
that me
what
and
the
Fergal
podcast-
That
got
was
the
Stephen
seats.
Bartlett's episode called "Why You Have No Friends," and it was the first one I listened to.
Sounds like a good episode.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Anyway, he actually said a guy. There was 500 people in the room, and a guy put his hand up. You know, any questions? He was like, "How do I make friends?" And he was like, "Well, for a start, see that person sitting right beside you." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Speak to him. Ask him why have I got no friends? Do you want to be my friend?"
The art of conversation's lost.
Lost.
Yeah.
It's all phones.
I love just going away, no phone, or going for a walk somewhere, and you just meet random people for a chat. And I think that lost. I think the podcasts are bringing that back. I think that's why we love bringing on people. Like we bring on people we don't even know half the time, and sometimes you couldn't even tell because the first 5 minutes they're into it, they're talking to us like they've known us for years, which is great. I just think the art of conversation's lost, and if these sort of platforms can bring them back, then
Aye, that'd be
fantastic.
good. It is nice just sitting down chit chat, and as you say, like it just shows a lot for you too. You know that they're speaking so openly like a friend because you make them so welcome on your podcast and everything too, which is really nice.
Suppose I
Just
guess
feed them full of drink.
quick
and-
fire.
Yeah.
From us.
Yeah,
I think
it's the
it
drink beforehand for yeah, that's what happens. Loosens them up.
used to have some Magherafelt legends that's been on that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Who would be one of your favourites?
Favorite guest is no, I wouldn't do it.
Well, you don't name names.
Do you
Did you
know-
ever leave them like they were really like boring, or they were like that was hard podcast? You know,
there's never
No.
no. I'll answer that.
I
There's
they'd be like John Fergal.
there's our podcasts are so long
teeth.
that I feel like me and Fergal and Jude, or I feel anyway, that you're going to get something from it. You always get something from it because of the time that we have with the person. So like there's been episodes that maybe weren't as exciting for some people, but we're bringing people on because we
and they're not everyone's cup of tea.
They're not everyone's
Get
cup of tea.
Certain niches.
and there's maybe very little say listeners or viewers, but Ian Fergal were listening.
Yeah,
But you see, from your
it's
podcast,
just that one person.
I've bumped into people in the street who've been on your podcast now, and then I openly speak to them because I was like, I've listened to that podcast. I know you
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
and you're actually a bit of me. You're a bit of crap.
You know
like
them
that.
better. You know them better.
Whereas when they walk past you, normally they're proper resting bitch face.
That's it. That's
I'm not
it.
talking about any posties who work for the council, because that man is all right. You know what age he is?
50.
52. They told me
52,
already.
is he?
I was like, you're not 52. I'd have put him at 42.
He's a young lad.
He's
Still
just a ball of energy.
he's
that
still a
man.
young
He's
boy.
Absolute legend.
We must get him on sometime.
You have to.
Get him on.
Hit him some swear jar.
Oh,
Oh,
per
square
darn.
bucket.
Per darn fingers.
This time, edit all out.
That's what I love about your podcast, though. It's brought people from in Magherafelt to life. And to
Yeah,
life, because
and that's why you were talking about the conversation. I think it's so important. I think that the community needs to be more open with each other about our stories, our past, what we used to do. Like we're bringing in Crazy. We brought him in 3 times, but we're bringing him in because he's an absolute storyteller, and he's
great.
teaching.
Different
He's,
stuff
he's
every
teaching. He's teaching history
It's
on them.
52 years.
He's teaching
That's not
history.
nice.
There's been maybe 3 versions of Crazy over the years. Different temperaments, different. This is what he
Different
used to be
times, yeah.
like, and I know when he's talking about the town from 20 years ago, and I'm a history buff, and he's talking
you are,
about
when it's
that,
up
and all these wee different things, and every guest brings something on different, and like as I said, whenever we're bringing someone on, we're excited about it. And that's the difference than a podcast or a conversation
chore or
with
something.
someone. It's a chore, and when we're bringing someone on, we're ready to talk because we have a true interest in them. And if our listeners, some of our listeners will enjoy that, and some of them will wait to the next episode, but that's okay. That's where there's similarities with Joe Rogan. As much as people don't like him too much, he brings on random people, but he makes sure that they're people he wants to talk to and that he is ready to talk to because he's passionate about it or he finds them interesting. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to show up if you didn't think they were going to be interesting or
That's it.
something
We
to learn
don't
from
want
them,
this. You don't want it to be a job.
No,
I think everyone's interesting. In
Yeah.
their own, you're
and
always going
you'll
to find
click with certain
something.
people,
Yeah.
So our latest guest was Emma Quinn. Like she was a bodybuilder, and I was fascinated.
Oh,
Like,
that is.
I have no history or know nothing about bodybuilding, but I was like, tell me everything. I was
It's an
just
interesting world.
like I was like
So
Keith wasn't
underrated.
there. I was just talking to Emma. I didn't want, like it was fantastic. But that'll not be everyone's cup of tea. They'll skip
no, it's not.
forward.
It's so
you know.
hard.
That's it.
that-
And do you know what's so nice? Is like for Emma, for example, or Crazy, for example, everybody that knows them will listen. I think that's such a nice thing, that they get a chance to get their story out there, and then 10 years down the line, someone could go back to that episode
I
and
know.
go,
Yeah.
That's
"There's
what you
Emma's
said,
episode,
yeah.
there's Kevin's episode," and people
in
can
the archives now.
people
That's it.
it's archived and I don't Fergal, you probably get a few people talking to you about the podcast out and about, but like I get people even in like Tesco's or McSwiggin's and I haven't talked to them in 15 years or more, and they're like, "Well, John," I was like, "Well, it's correct." Goes,
Trying to think of their name in my head.
no, I know them, but I wouldn't be chatting to them every day, and they say, "Oh, I really enjoyed that episode the other night.
It's so lovely
it
when
was
people
good."
say that, though, isn't it?
And they'd be like, "You were talking, you had a story about my uncle." And I goes, "Oh, very good, who was he?" And he's like, "Oh, he was him." And he goes, "He died 5 years ago." And I never knew that story about him.
Oh, and then
So,
that's
like,
so lovely.
There's these wee, I don't know what you call them, just just these wee byproducts of the podcasts that I don't think we ever thought about would happen.
Yeah.
Where memories and stories from all these different people in the community,
They would never have heard otherwise.
they
you
would
know.
they wouldn't have heard otherwise,
No.
and they're hearing them, and I think that's where our podcast is at its best. Whenever those sort of stories are there for people to reminisce on and listen
It's so nice.
And send them to other family members.
to. 100%. Yeah.
But Thomas, you just said there about being a history buff, because you actually are. People say they're history buffs, but you love
A bit of a history buff, yeah.
Can you tell us about? You gifted us with a lovely picture.
Beautiful. My mum
Yeah.
loves it.
This is a
My
strange
mother-in-law
one.
tried to steal it.
Yeah, I know. She's like,
It's-
where'd you get this? I really like this.
It's a random one, and it's a testament to Fergal as well. Without Fergal in my life, I would never have understood the creative process of a piece of art. Just having Fergal as a talented designer and an artist in his own right, just through the years,
Blushing.
gave me.
'Cause I think people are either very creative or like I am a disaster. Like
Yeah.
I hate any colouring in, and never mind. I'm like, nope, I don't want to do it.
Colour between the lines.
Yeah,
No, but I think what John has that I don't have is like the organisational skills to make something like that work, or what
where you
he's
can
about
be
to talk
creative and
about.
then
Yeah,
he can
I
figure it
don't-
out,
I
you know,
have
with other.
Yeah.
scattered brain.
This is
So,
why you
like-
work so well together.
Aye, definitely. We're definitely that chalk and cheese that worked so well.
Yin and yang, we'll say,
Yin
not
and
chalk.
yang, chalk and cheese, and so that's kind of what I did for years before with Fergal. Was I would have been the creative brief writer, figured out what the client wanted, put it down in a brief, and go Fergal, you
You
know,
brought it to life.
get into it, and
It's no easy task writing briefs.
the better
Oh,
I
I'd
get,
say
the
not.
better I do it, the better it'll be.
Yeah.
You know, and then Fergal will be
And the more detail you can give.
more
for it to
detail
bring
I
it
can
out,
gain,
yes.
you know, and that was kind of my main crux and the main thing I had to do. And in lockdown 2020, I was just stir crazy in the house because things had obviously slowed down, and I was just writing brief like a madman for all these creative projects and handing them off, and I was just without that. And I love Irish music. I love Irish folk music, and I'm very much connected to the story in the people that are in the story, rather than the connotations of a lot of the stuff that I do. There's a wee bit of conflict of it. There's love stories. There's all these different elements to it, but it's kind of more the people in it, and I would be very bad at listening to music and repeating it. So like I could repeat a movie quote out of nowhere,
Okay.
but see a song, I just can't. Like I can't actually, I can't repeat a bit of
You
music.
can sing a wee bit of it or whatever.
I can't. I literally
Could you
can't.
do the whole Maximus Decimus Meridius?
No,
Yeah.
I couldn't do that one.
But it used to be so funny because you couldn't be bothered to learn your French or oral or anything. But as soon
Yeah.
as like a song came on the radio, you could sing it word for word, and
C'est
you've
la
never
vie.
seen
Yeah.
the words in your life. But some people just can click or
that,
not.
that was my downfall with music, but I found with these folk songs and any kind of song like this, they're like stories and they're very slow, and they're like telling the story in like wee pieces and wee snapshots. And whenever I was in the house just going stir crazy, I maybe had a song on my head. Like there's one, Beeswing was the first one. It was famous by Christy Moore, and whenever I was singing that in my head and singing it in the house when nobody was listening, I could visualize what that song looked like. I could visualize the person in it. I could visualize the Irish wolfhound, the beautiful fire. She was sitting in a rocking chair. She had a bottle of whiskey, and I could visualize it. And I started writing it down. I was like, for me personally, just to actually
just something to do.
something to do,
Yeah.
but also like I was like, I've nobody to really do this for me at the moment. Shady Dolphin has slowed down, and we're still obviously working through it all, but I had nobody to really get these ideas out of my head. So it was kind of like a boiling point, like with these ideas, and I found someone online. I kind of vetted a few artists online that were doing like realism, because I wanted a certain look to it. I wanted it to look very realistic, to the point that people could feel like they're in the kind of story. And I found a lady called Yaron Suarez, and she's from Venezuela, and she's basically actually been, I think, maybe running from Venezuela for a while now, in terms of there's like government corruption and there's different things like that. So she's very much been just moving around countries and just doing what she can, basically survive, and very, very talented artist. And I met her, and just online, just paid for her services till make these bits of art for me. And we did it for maybe 3 to 4 years before I was like, Yarns, do you want to do this with me? You know, do you want to do that? We could do this together, you know, because I had many Zoom chats with her over COVID, and we're basically, I was teaching her the history of the island and what happened and all these different stories around Ireland. And she was, you know, gravitating towards it herself, and she was really picking up what I meant. And to have someone like that, to like, you know, to be able to take your words and take, you know, your brief, and like I was creating wee collages, and I was like finding the material of, you know, the woman's dress. I want the material like this. The Irish wolfhound's going to be sitting in this pose and stuff, and she was just getting it. Like
brilliant.
maybe from the first day, she was the first artist I talked to that was just getting it so nailed on. I was like, you are getting me. And then 4 years on, I changed it into this hobby that I was just doing for myself. I was putting up the pictures online, or I was putting them up in the house, and I was really just enjoying the process of it. Someone reached out to me on Reddit. I think it was like an American or something. They were looking to buy them, and I was like, I'm not really selling these. He was like, but how much do you want for them? Like, and I was like, oh Jesus, maybe there's a market here for it. And again, problem solving was like, I've never done this before, in a sense. I've never sold a physical piece of art.
No. Where do you start?
Where do you start? So it was just a constant learning curve, where in the last maybe year or so, I figured out, you know, the paper, I figured out the framing, figured out the cost, just like a business, and figured out, you know, the margin I could make in profit, and half it with the artist. So me and like, I'm the kind of the market and the briefing side, she's the talent, she's the creative side. And then since then, me and her have sort of been building that wee portfolio of work and been selling them in an Irish shop outside Slackneil. It's the Irish community. It's kind of like a trial run to figure out, you know, am I onto something here? The people like them, and then they all sold out. And kind of that was like me, like, all right, the prototype's working, it's grand, and you've got one of them.
Yeah, it's
You've got Greenfields of France,
stunning.
and from there now,
I think my mother-in-law might want one for.
yeah, give me a shout, mother-in-law. But I've upgraded them since. I've got a new frame for them. I've kind of seen that if I, you know, develop the idea a wee bit further and make them a wee bit more presentable, there's more money in them and stuff like that. So
And they're
just,
beautiful as they are, never mind.
yeah,
what you
that's
do,
it.
yeah.
And it's the business head on me. And then there's a shop down in Belfast. There's a couple of shops interested in selling them in a different form. Now, I was chatting to them the last couple of weeks, so I'm
That's very exciting.
looking forward to that as well. And just, yeah, all in all, it was just a really nice process. I'm still learning, and just taking that wee bit of history that I love, wee bit about art, the artwork, and then putting it all together into a business model. I suppose that's kind of what we talked about. Like, me and Fergal are trying to find ways with all the side of skills that we learnt over the years to put it into something that fits.
Just even a
something that we
hobby just
enjoy.
shows you something you can enjoy so much. You know, you can make a wee business out of it, like
Yeah.
passive income and stuff.
Yeah, I think anybody can. I know,
You know?
you say that to anybody, but I think if you can find something that you really, really enjoy, there is a way to mold that into somewhere that can make money along the way.
You know what would make you an absolute fortune?
God, tell me.
Those hats.
Oh, the hats. make Magherafelt great again.
Make Magherafelt
They're
great
coming.
again.
They're in prototype stage at the moment.
Get them.
My brother would, well, his wife would. I would love to get one for her.
Yeah, she's not a Trump fan. Like.
They live in
strange though.
America, you
It's
know,
strange
she's
though, they're-
American, so she hates
They're not for Trump. They're not for Trump. Like they're for us.
but
Like
she'd find it funny.
they're for
It
the
would be
local
funny.
community. Like
I will 100% will buy one.
they're class. I think.
I don't
they're
wear hats,
wonderful.
but I'll wear that one.
No, I
Just have it
don't.
up and show
I
them,
don't
you
sit a
know.
hat.
Do you know whenever I shared on Instagram, people message me with like how much? I'm like, they're
Oh,
not my hats.
100%. I
No
had
way.
maybe 20. I had maybe 20 people looking to buy them.
Brilliant. Get to pay up front now.
no,
you'll have
we
them
will-
ready,
we
you know.
will.
Don't they at £25? You're laughing.
They're in the factory at the moment. We're getting our first prototype made of them. Yeah, we'll turn them out at some
That's
stage.
500. That's 500.
We'll maybe try and get a picture and we can put it up on our social media. and show
Yeah,
them
do,
before
yeah,
that goes
yeah,
live,
do.
you know.
I was hoping to
I'm
actually have it
having
today,
them
but it's not ready.
To
But
be wearing it.
it'll be here. It'll be here in the next couple of weeks.
We'll
As it
put it-
Oh,
is.
good. We'll
put it
tag
on
us
our
and share
recorder,
it.
so
We'll get a wee pre-order. Get a wee pre-order set up.
Oh yeah, pay up front and no refunds.
That's it. No refunds.
Free funds.
But, refunds. Yeah.
No good.
Tell me that's
sales
not
money
marketing
anyway.
genius. I goes into everything.
What's that? Re?
Everything.
I was admiring your socks there.
Oh yes, if anyone we've got our t-shirts on sale as well.
That t-shirt's lethal, by the way.
It's good
Lethal.
quality
Is it?
stuff.
That is
really
one of the
good.
best t-shirts I've ever seen.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Not
I
many.
think it's class.
Not many gyms do socks though, do they?
No, I'm not even.
I like
are
that.
you wearing yours?
Yeah, are you wearing yours?
Yeah.
I'm not wearing mine, but
Are
I
you
should
not?
No, should have wore them today. But it's really good t-shirt.
See that? That's my kind of t- Is that for sale again? Yeah, does it?
We can get you.
Go on, get me one. What
That's
size is
cool.
that? I'll take it
That's
with me
actually
today.
large,
Take it
I
with me. Much of the socks?
We'll tell you after.
At least £20.
I would.
I think I've told that many people
Ballpark.
that many different
prices,
places.
I know. But that's what someone said about
Ballpark.
High Rocks. You know, last week when we were in Dublin, he's like, I just seen re-tops everywhere. Like, if everyone wasn't wearing their re-top that they were competing in, they were wearing like a re-t-shirt or a re-hoodie or
Class.
things. They're everywhere.
Class. That's what you want.
Class.
You know.
How did everyone get on
Dirty
it?
spirit.
Brilliant, everyone. It was a
High
brilliant.
Rocks.
We took 82 people with us to compete, and like other people just came to watch as well. So like I'd say that it got to nearly 100 people there. Wow, it was mad,
That's lethal.
absolutely incredible.
High Rocks is great, isn't it?
It's just
You
took
love-
off,
you-
you know.
you
And he's
love
both did our Sims too, and we'll hopefully,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing another one soon.
I'd love to.
You're at the end of the month.
hopefully at the end of December.
Yeah,
we'll
I'll
do
do that
let me
one.
know.
Hopefully, I can get a bit of
Training.
get the baby looked after, and then we can.
Because you're doing well. You're training, Virgo. What
I'm
about your
enjoying it,
training?
yeah.
Then are you doing much?
Not as much as I'd like.
Why are you not at Re?
You know what? I'd
Three
love to do
against
Re, but
one here,
there's,
Virgo.
there's so many fun things out there to do. Like
Yeah.
too many. I
still
As long as you're staying
jiu-jitsu?
active.
still doing jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
I
Trying.
told you yesterday
Let's
I'd
not
done
get in the
2
wrong side of
beginner
Fergal.
courses of jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
And I still can't get it.
Neither can I.
What do you not like about it?
The time that it's on.
Oh, just
Oh,
the time.
I need like a lunchtime class.
We're not night owls, you know.
I'm either working or
There's one on Yoda has one on during the day Thursday, and it's all the PTs go to.
PTs and drug dealers.
And me.
Sometimes
But
we,
it's, yeah, I'd go the Thursday during the day
well, that
sometimes,
maybe would work.
and it's good fun. But
What
because
time is
they're
that
all-
on a Thursday?
12.
Oh, maybe it would work.
You could maybe go. Because they're all PTs, they're all so strong. It's
The
hilarious.
last
like,
time I was
they're
there,
beasts.
last time I was there was an open mat, and I was like, Ryan, do you think I could go to that? And he was like, yeah, no problem. And I went in, and there was this guy. There's no gi, and this guy was sitting in the corner. I was like, I'll have a bit of him. Like he's older than me. He's got a bit of weight on him. I was like, I'll do it. He messed
Smash
me
you,
up. like.
yeah.
And I was like, just curious, me, what belt? And he's like, purple. I was like,
Oh
okay.
God.
He's like, what about you? I was like, I don't even have one yet.
I don't know.
I go to no gi because I don't own a gi.
Never earned a never had a belt.
Yeah,
Hate
it's
that.
But that's like fitness too.
it's
for
a
maybe
great
hard work.
sport. I love it, but I'm not good at it. Like
You're moving here, just
What belt do you?
white, still a shit white belt.
should
No,
have a
I've
white
four
belt.
four stripes in the
Oh, you
white
have 4
belt.
stripes, sir.
So like I'm close to the blue, but not really close to the blue. If that makes sense. I don't know. You go in one day and you think you're all right. I'm starting to get this. I'm starting to get the hang of this, but then you go in the next day and you get smashed by everyone. You're like, why?
But
Maybe
I used,
outside
to, I
factors
used to
and
find
stuff,
that really
you know.
hard. Like you go in and the warm up was insane, and then they would be like, "Right now we're going to go into a bit of grappling." Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to breathe.
And plus, it's super. It's one of the most addictive things I've ever done. And
How long have you been doing it for?
3 years. I was injured for like a year, but yeah, 3 years, maybe longer. But I mean, at the very start, it just took over everything.
Yeah,
It
I
might
was
have
the same at the
factored
start, though.
in Shady Dolphin closing down. Like it
Probably.
sort of like just takes over every part of
We'd
your.
We had 5 people at Shady Dolphin doing jiu-jitsu at one
Yeah,
stage.
there
It was
was.
just everyone
Including
just loved
It's
it.
just so addictive.
You
and
liked
then-
it, Joey John?
I
Will we
liked
go
it
back?
all right.
Will we go back?
Right, 12 and
no,
Thursday,
I
you
wouldn't. I
three
wouldn't
need
go
to
back. I think it's a really good sport. I think it's class for the people that enjoyed it. But I, in the end, just didn't really enjoy it. To be honest, do you know what it was?
Something fits in a
It doesn't.
sport like
It doesn't
things.
fit me. No, I think the sport's class. I love watching it and love seeing all the fighting and stuff. But it just for me personally, I just like I'm not enjoying this because I left. I didn't leave rugby. I'm trying to leave. I'm retiring.
Spoiler alert.
You
Retiring constantly because I keep getting injured. But I left rugby.
You don't get to decide when you leave rugby.
I left.
Decides.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to jiu-jitsu for a while here, and then rest my body, and go to, and then I'll go get back to rugby, and then jiu-jitsu the first time I was there, and someone nearly killed me and nearly dislocated my shoulder. So, like, I went in there thinking it was
And
just
that was gonna be a
just a bit of
rest?
crack. I
It's
thought
easier.
jiu-jitsu was easier than it was, and it wasn't, constantly trying to hurt someone. The way your body moves and stuff. So I was completely wrong going in there thinking that's what it was, and then it just didn't suit what I was looking for. I suppose.
Someone tried to choke you and break your arm. Like that's
Yeah.
that's. If you
I-
think
some
about
of
it,
That's
that's
a bit
what
mad,
it
like,
is.
yeah.
My first night,
see that?
someone choked
The
me.
guy, the guy who runs ECA, he's unbelievable. He's at it a year, and I think he's blue belt, is he? And he's purple belt now. I don't know. He's flying anyway. He's like maybe 2 years. What's Lenny and belts? Purple. two
No,
series.
no need to show off. Like
He's flying, right? But
machine, like.
he that's all he wants to talk about now.
Yeah.
that's it. It takes over.
Him and Francis both like purple belts, and I'm sitting in the middle. I was like, I really need to get back to jiu-jitsu so I can
Talk.
commute to this conversation. But they were saying, you know, whenever you get choked out, he says that's apparently a really good reset for your brain. It's apparently good for you.
Hi,
They looked it up.
I'm grand.
I
I'm
think
grand.
We'll not try it, like.
I'm alright.
They were doing studies
So, like-
about it, where they're choking people out and seeing what effects it had on their brain and stuff
Yeah,
like
it's
that. There,
it's
but
supposed to be like you're supposed to be choked out like 3 times a year.
I don't. I would not advise that.
That's no, we do not advise that at all. Anyone listening to this podcast,
I would-
no.
Do it at your own risk.
It's scary to see someone.
Oh,
being
don't know
choked.
why.
I've never been
don't know
choked
why I
out,
stopped. I'm not sure.
John, I think you made the wise decision. You're
But-
not going back to it.
Maybe.
Fergal, be careful.
But yeah, it's a great sport. I love it. But like I used to run. I love trail running.
Oh, you do
and-
like a bit of
Aye,
running?
You
and
were
I love-
fast in the Sim show.
Yeah, and I loved like there's mountain biking. I'd love to get into you know, there's so much.
I love all the
That
outside
was a
active
good.
stuff, you know.
That was the first podcast. You know, we talked about your mountain bike. 'Cause I was
Exactly. I
so
still
impressed
haven't
by it.
fixed it.
That was
And-
2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And climbing, I used to climb a lot
You're like
too.
me. You get really into a hobby and then
Yep.
just don't do it anymore. I used to have a bow and arrow and everything.
Oh,
Aye.
Like,
aye.
one day with a bow and arrow.
Compound bow is it or is it?
Aye.
I used to do
Really into it,
archery.
like.
Just one day, just off a whim. Oh, look what I bought today.
And then didn't have
They're
anything
class.
to put the like. I didn't have any targets at the stage, so we had an old shed out the back, and I was taking lumps out of it.
Here, I have a target house. Me and you go out someday.
It's
Don't have it anymore.
I have a longbow.
Have you?
it's dodgy though that because they
But like I
You could
really
kill
get,
someone.
I get
Depends who's
really into
behind it.
hobbies. I
Yeah.
get really into hobbies, and then one day I come and say I don't like that anymore.
Hence why we have a High Rocks gym now and it's just not a normal gym.
but that's
Hence why we have a gym.
I'd love to get really into the high rock stuff, like
It's taken
properly
off like mad.
try and do a
I
really good time.
I was saying this too because I went and done a solo last week, and Alex was like, everyone said it was like if you had it consistently trained, I was like, I know.
I heard
I
you've
know.
done the solo.
I heard a lot
You did
hardest thing I've
unreal.
done, but I
You did
loved
brilliant.
it, right? But you see, after everyone says it, like even like I trained up at Yorkshire and all, he was like, you know, you'd be lethal at CrossFit if you
Just try.
Just applied yourself.
and I'm like,
Do you like CrossFit?
I don't mind. I don't mind it. I prefer competition. So like you know, if like me and you were going, who can do quicker 30 calories?
Yes,
I'll go.
yes.
I'll
He'll
pass
do
out getting
quick,
the
yeah.
30 calories.
Yeah,
Whereas you're like, go
same.
do 30 calories. Like, nah, don't really want to. Don't want to.
It's kind of funny. I think the thing that I'm concentrating the most at the minute is probably the one thing I'm naturally the worst at. Like
What's it?
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I think
That's good though,
I
you
think
know,
I'm a
it's kinda
better.
better.
I'd probably end up being a better ultra runner. I think
Yeah.
I think climbing I was probably naturally better at it, but jiu-jitsu I just don't. I find it so hard.
This is why I find weird because I love competition and I love all sort of stuff, but I can't apply myself to jiu-jitsu.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I just think it's a hard sport, and I think
Yeah.
I'm
If you're gonna
not
get
smart
hurt, you
enough
know.
to do it.
Do you know, it's Ryan will teach you something and he'll go real into great depths and
Uh-huh.
a few demonstrations. of it.
Fantastic.
And then he'd be like, you go do it, and then you're like, what did you say I had to do again? What did I do with this arm? And then
Yeah.
your own leg and a leg lock, and you're like, oh, you meant him. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And then you feel
Yeah.
stupid.
Mhm.
There's some impressive guys around. You've Ryan there, and you've Conor Marin.
Conor Marin, yes, he's.
I think we're very lucky.
Such
To-
a high
the,
high
the
level.
guys we have in our area are just.
When I was out with Ryan,
Wow.
Conor was there. He was the one. He was like assisting him in the classes. He was very
Yeah.
good. But they're unbelievable. But I love the videos whenever I don't know who it was mic'd up. Ryan.
Oh my god,
And he
they
was
were
like,
the funniest
Oh,
he
things
slabbed him.
ever.
Because he does stab her like that.
That's
but he-
him.
Aye.
That is him.
When he was like, don't do that. That's stupid. That's stupid. Don't do. I told you not to do it. You're like, he did tell you.
Oh, you should do it. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Fair enough.
you do you. You do what you want to do. That's good. He's cut and dry like that.
Oh, he's hilarious. Like he's so
John
good.
and you'll stick to the gym.
Aye, I'm sticking to the high rocks
No, but
and the Ree Mama.
Here, funny
Yes.
story. First time I was ever out at Ryan's, out at Yoda. It was a fella I work with, Adam Swan. He lives up in Ballymena, and he's still really into it. But he rang Ryan to see if we could do a drop in. Right, we were on a job, and then you're supposed to ring a thing called a watchkeeper to let him know what's happening and stuff. But he rang Ryan back thinking it was the watchkeeper, and he was like, "Oh, this is Guardsman's on or whatever. We're just moving back to location 9." And he was like, "What?" So he hung up. He said he probably didn't crack on to that there. So we went to Ryan's that evening, and we were both standing, we were both like in guards and all that sort of stuff, and Ryan just was having a conversation, and then he just dropped. He's like, "You still in the army?" And we're like, I was like, I don't know what you mean, Ryan. Bear in mind, he's the SAS Who Dares Wins champion.
right,
Like,
yeah,
and I was like, hi. Caught us right off guard because he
That's
just
so
the way he questioned
funny.
it. I was like, fair play, that guy knows his shit. Like.
But
He did do that first episode.
And
he won it?
And he won it.
Unreal.
Tight lad.
That'll be hard work.
did you just watch it? Yeah.
Aye.
Here, he'd be a good boy to get on the podcast.
Oh,
No,
don't
wait,
even
that's
talk to
yours.
me. Have you asked him?
Nah, he didn't know interest. Like,
He does. It's so he said to me,
Because he's quite shy too, a wee bit,
Yeah.
you know, in normal circumstances, because we'd see him at swimming and all, remember?
we asked him, and he said he would go on it once, and then
You fucked it up.
I didn't ask him again for like, because we had already scheduled like a good few people in, and then when I went to ask him, he was like, no, it's not that I asked him again. It was like in the middle of class, he was like, oh, Fergal, I said he was going to get me on a podcast, hasn't even mentioned it yet. Like, pure called me out.
And then you couldn't ask after that, you know.
There's a reason I book the guests.
Yeah.
did you actually write it down?
Quite organised with that sort of thing.
John, that's me
Fergal,
too.
not so much.
See, this is
That's how we work.
he-
I get it. I understand.
Because when we done recon, he was going to come up. Only it didn't work his.
That's
schedule
right,
again.
yeah.
He was going to come up and do the jiu-jitsu part of it and stuff and all. And he's like, "What do you want me to talk about?" It's like, "Your life, mate. You have a really interesting life." And he's like, "No, I don't." And I was like, "But you won SAS who dares wins. You're unbelievable at jiu-jitsu and like you have all this story."
MMA fighter, like
yeah,
high,
like at a high standard and like you have this empire that you're on. And he was like, "But that's not interesting." And I'm like, "You don't see it. Other people will." And you couldn't talk to him.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
No.
you know.
The
crazy.
amount of stories we've heard
But a guy that could kill you, he's
about
so
him
lovely.
is
Yeah.
nuts. We've had I think we had 3 guests that have told us different parts of his story, like on their podcast, and you're like, it's lethal.
Just get him on.
I mean,
Watch the podcast, guys.
But yeah, he also threatened that if we went onto the podcast, he would just like not be the most. You know what you talk
Yes,
about a horrible
no,
guest.
yes,
he would try
no.
and try and do, yeah.
oh,
exactly.
it'd be so bad. Oh,
No, but I'd be happy enough with that. I'm
But
happy.
I would air that. That would be
That'd be
hilarious.
funny, you know,
That would be
funny,
the
yeah.
funniest podcast we've ever done.
Happy
Just us trying to like get him to
trying
talk.
like blood out of a stone, you know, sort of thing.
know
Like,
that-
just
you know
talk to me,
30
Ryan.
minutes long.
Do you know I love Ryan Roddy? He's one of the hardest fellas I've probably have ever met, right? And he's so like and all this sort of stuff. But we went out to Airfield to the swim academy, and we would be coming in as he would be coming out and stuff, and you see him going around doing all the wee
Where you take
wheels
your
on the
children
buses
swimming,
and stuff
you
and
know.
the thing, and I'm like, that guy could kill every man in that pool, right? And he's wheezing on a bus. And I'm like, all right, lad.
But yeah, jiu-jitsu is a love-hate relationship. It's because
I
it's so
love it.
hard.
You'd be wrecked after too, like,
Oh
you know,
my God.
crippled.
And like it's the other thing as well, because I'm a very competitive. I probably spent the first year of jiu-jitsu just going way too hard, because they say not to do that.
Yeah.
But try and tell me that
Yeah.
whenever someone's trying to choke
You'll
you.
go all the
I'd be
harder,
like,
you know.
You're stubborn.
Yeah.
And
You have to learn.
I had to learn. I had to learn how to like just not be as aggressive as I usually is, and I'm only slightly learning it now.
But that was one of the things I found very hard was, whenever you're going to a fight, you think you have to throw everything at it, but it's all slow,
not- yeah, it's
methodical
Trying another one to
movements.
tear the other one out.
Puzzle,
trying to-
puzzle solving.
It's a puzzle, so it is. But
Because I remember
And you should be so good at that with work, you know, you need to bring that in, you know, like all the briefs, like figuring them out, you know, customer to customer.
yeah. I
And
don't.
then when
I
you're in
don't-
the thick of it, you're like, nope, I'm burning all them matches.
because I remember like grappling with the fella, and his tail was always before he would like go to like try lock you up or whatever, you go, and you would just tighten it like that there, and then he go, nothing he could do. And I was like, this actually works.
You got to read your partner. you know.
Yeah.
I love that sort of stuff.
It's good. It is. I really enjoy
Then
it.
whenever they sweat and it drips into
Oh,
your,
stop
into
it.
the
That's
top
me.
lip, and you're like, I'm like, oh, what? I'm paying to do
Nom,
this.
nom,
Yeah,
nom.
I'm
Oh,
a
no.
sweaty baddie. Like it's not good. It's not.
I'd
Fun.
avoid you like the plague. I hate sweat.
Yeah, I don't. I'm surprised anyone rolls with me. Like it's that bad.
Yeah. I remember that, actually.
We have a few sweaty people in the gym too, and they would just take them up then after and clean up where they've been, you know.
Yeah,
nice.
and
That's
it gets
nice.
pretty dangerous sometimes in the mat after because it's
slippy.
like super slippy.
bare
So
feet, like.
and I have to get the
Oh,
towel out
rotten.
and
You eat ball of grease, just
pretty much.
slipping
But
about.
it's a benefit to you.
Baby oil.
It definitely is. I love it. And then the running as well. It's a love-hate relationship too. It's hard to get
runs
back
hard.
into that. Like
There's something
Especially
freeing
this time of
about
year.
being outside running around though.
it's so nice being out in nature. That's the
Well,
that's the
do you
one
know,
thing.
see when
And
I
the good
see
weather.
Sammy Lepari,
I
see
know.
whenever I see his stories and I've been sleeping while he's been
I love when
up
the
a mountain
snow
and all, I'm
or-
like,
5
fair
a.m. in the
play,
morning.
fair play.
He's an absolute savage.
I was chatting to him
He
this
is.
morning, right? He was coming back to the gym. He was going to jump back into the 5 a.m. classes.
Mm-hmm.
But I texted him and I was like, I'm just going to tell people it's because you're scared of the rain. And I was it. He's been out running since.
seen that
Yeah,
post. That was
hard.
yeah, he made a post. Yeah.
Harder than ever. I was like, I didn't mean it like that. I was just taking the piss.
But it's just like talking about a savage of a man. Like he started doing ultra running, did the last man stand, one of the hardest races
Yeah.
I think you could ever do. And then the first time he did it, he came in third.
Yeah,
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
he's-
and then they were saying, were they not asking, like, because Ewan's brought a massive crowd to support him the first time, and they're like,
who
who is this?
Aye, people are like, I know
Randomer.
what's all these randomers shouting, cheering this boy on because
Aye.
he was just so
but he got
new.
lifted everybody because they clapped everybody in too.
Yeah.
The like,
But he's talking this morning about the races he's booked for 2025. Like he's doing
Crazy.
a marathon over the mountains and stuff and all. And there's a cut-off time at halfway, and these mountains are massive. Can't remember where it was.
Lethal.
3 peaks, but the mountains are massive. And if you aren't over the halfway line, half marathon in 2 hours 15, you're cut. I was like, what? I was like, I've done my
It's
first half
insane.
marathon in 2 hours 5 minutes.
I love the days that he's away running. I'm glued to the social media to see where he's at and how he's
class.
doing, or you see his mommy videoing it.
Nah.
And then when
All
night
the
comes,
laps
he
and
just
stuff.
takes off at
We
night
need to
time,
teach
you know,
his
so he
mum how to
does.
work up proper camera.
Leave her alone. Leave her alone.
Because sometimes she forgets she's recording and then puts the camera in. He's like, keep going, Sal. Oh,
It's okay. I like the
That's
commentary.
class.
It's
I
good.
know, I'm sure it's normal if you're on this.
Our
okay.
Sheena.
no, the elevation could kill you. I did
In the air
a
and all?
marathon 2 weeks ago. Tullymore Forest marathon, and I did not prepare for the elevation. Like, it was.
And it's cold at the minute,
so
Fergal too,
tough.
probably.
Aye. It was hard now.
Did you
but
win it?
was- I was just happy to finish that.
Just take part.
Yeah.
good.
One of our coaches here, Lindsay, she done her first time she done high rocks. Her dad says, "What did you win?"
Oh
And she's like, "It's
god.
not like that." But then two of our members, Donna and Gillian, trains at Gladiator up in Ballymena, but they're sisters. She went in a Ray Academy t-shirt. They won their age group for high rocks.
No.
Got a flag.
Oh, was that when they were on the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
podium?
Uh-huh.
I thought they just jumped up there and got a
So
photo.
they actually
Nope.
qualified for the World Championship in Chicago
Wow.
in December next year. And I was like, "Are we going?"
That is lethal.
Are they going to do it right now?
They're talking about it. Eh?
They need
You
to.
You need to do a
Aye.
fundraiser for
When
it.
you get
that's
into
a lot of
something like
dough.
that, you need to
So
do
family.
it. Like, that's
This is
so
shock, yeah.
cool.
But like, that was Gillian's first time ever doing high rocks, and she won it. I was like, "You jammy get that."
That's
Being invited to
unreal.
Chicago, like, that's
So cool.
nuts.
Oh, it's dear though. It's expensive.
Aye, you save up for that. Like,
Is High Rocks to enter into? Is it dear or to?
About €100.
you're talking €100, yeah, for the competitions.
You get a
The
patch.
sim
though.
here is a good deal, though. You're
Fiver if you're a gym member. Nearly worth taking a
really
membership.
worth taking
That's
the
pretty.
members.
That's pretty good, to be honest. Like running races now are coming that price. Like if you're doing like an ultra or something like that, they're around £70-80. And the jiu-jitsu competitions are getting really expensive, isn't it?
Oh,
now
yeah.
too,
Well, they're getting popular. I think jiu-jitsu needs as much funding and support as possible.
Aye, but
Well, when
then
you see that, like, so there's big influencers, well, big fitness guys who are all in jiu-jitsu now. They live by it. Like,
Yeah.
Dave Smith's the main
That's
one.
right.
Don't
yeah.
you cheap out on
He's a-
jiu-jitsu, like.
He does nothing but publicise for it, like, which is good.
He's a purple belt, I think.
And then you have
Kirby, you need to step up, get this belt. Come on.
Ryan,
No.
give a man a blue belt.
Let's give him the belt.
He's got his stripes there. Come
Just
on.
give him the belt.
I just got that 4th stripe, so it's probably
How many stripes do you get?
4, and then it's blue.
Right, okay. Well, you're nearly there.
Another 2 years.
Probably.
No, Fergal.
If you just go
It's
Thursday,
about, it's about the journey.
it's about
the
it is
That's
correct.
it. It's the
That's
ticking
what you
parts.
learn going through it.
No, but that's what I enjoy. But I enjoy going to the gym, but I love
Just being outside.
just
and
being.
saying-
Well,
like
that's
doing-
what I said. I would play basketball 7 nights a week, but you couldn't get me in the gym 7 nights a week. No, you
Yeah.
couldn't get me in
Yeah.
3 at this rate.
It's just it's something to take your mind off actually doing exercise.
And the
isn't it?
crack's good. You see,
I don't. It's not exercise. It's just fun.
the lads will tell you, see, whenever I'm on like playing basketball, I have the foulest mouth thing, and I don't know where it comes from. Like, I'm
We
all
were
sorts
talking.
of-
Whenever I'm in the match, I'm like, calm down. I, stop being so
I got
cheeky,
real
you know?
aggressive. Like,
We saw the hoop out there whenever we were waiting to come here, and we were talking about over COVID. We would meet up.
Right. Lethal.
We would meet up.
Some of the best
weren't
memories.
allowed to do that, but we met up in
2 meters apart. That's
uh,
all right.
a
Oh,
friend of mine's house, and we had like basketball matches, and it got.
Do you know,
rough.
like, basketball?
I
You know,
know.
like a street basketball?
That's what it
Love
looked
it.
like.
Street
Like,
ball.
Like you get in the American
you
movies.
felt like you were
now,
in
you know?
America, like,
Yeah.
so it was this complete concrete kind of.
It was a
just
silage.
It was a silage thing, and there was a hoop up, and we were doing with like 2-on-2s.
Yeah.
And we just played for hours.
Love
Like,
during lockdown.
aye.
Do you know at the start how scary it was? I remember Carson wanted a power bag. Carson's the massage therapist there.
Yes.
He's
And I had
insane.
like a heap of massage, like those not massages usually melted. Those power bags. And he came to collect one, and I said at the end of my drive, and I sanitized the life out of it, and I ran back. He got out of his car with his mask and his gloves on, and he sanitized it and put it in his boot. And I looked back, I was like,
Strange time.
"You are mental."
It's nuts, wasn't it?
Yeah, no
Strange
man.
time.
Because I had done COVID testing during lockdown and all, and you see
Oh,
whenever
with
they were
Carson?
teaching us and all.
So do Ryan.
So they were teaching us with like the clip we used to use,
Like litter
litter
picker?
picks and all.
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
into
yeah.
these boxes and stuff. I remember sitting in this big square over in London when they were teaching us in barracks, and I was like, I looked at one of the lads and I was like, "We're actually going out here, man. This is mental. Like we could catch COVID. Like, this could be horrific.
Mm.
And they see for like the first 3-4 weeks, like we were so particular about sanitizing stuff, new masks on every 40 minutes, new gloves on every 40 minutes, new aprons, everything, and so by the book. And like, you know, we don't even let people put the windows down. Do you know what I mean? It was like we talked to them through the window or wrote a message and showed it to them. Me and Carson were the main two guys at the gate, you know, like interacting with people, and I thought that was the crappiest job, like. But you see, by like week 5 and week 6, because people were COVID testing toddlers, we were in the back of the car holding the toddlers like that there, while the other one was sticking it up their nose. It's like we need to get home, because they put us up in like hotels in Brighton and stuff. No,
Did they?
Yeah.
bear in mind the hotel was closed, and there was times like the water wasn't even warm, but it was unreal. Like, we would go down and just run the pier every
silliness.
morning.
All right.
No, I'll never forget those. It got aggressive.
Basketball is rough. Like for non-contact, it's really
Alex
rough.
just took it up recently and broke a
I broke
finger.
I thought I broke a knuckle last week.
And her toe is black, and
I lost a nail and everything. Yeah.
Basketball.
For non-contact.
I love it. I for something that I don't watch or
do you want to come play for the team?
Yeah,
don't tempt me.
Mick
Yeah.
goes for a
Trina's fun,
training
yeah.
I'm
tonight.
5 foot
I love
nothing.
9.5
basketball.
feet.
We used to beat you boys.
No, I need to
You
train
were high
jiu-jitsu.
school,
Never
Magherafelt.
did. You were much
St.
older than
Pius's.
me. You were the older
That's
age
still
group.
in there.
How many years am I older than you?
Two.
Like
Well,
one.
He's born 92, but depending.
I'm 91.
But you're Alex 2 years ago.
I was
School year.
I was still playing against you. I remember playing you. Like,
Did you?
I
You
remember-
never beat
I
us.
definitely dunked you. Like
We were undefeated. We were
100%
undefeated.
dunked you.
Undefeated for 5 years.
I remember you just
Not me.
Okay, John, go
Flattened.
ahead. I'll not even
Not
try to stop
me.
you.
he was flattened.
I
But
know.
wait,
These weren't good though. Like that
Shut
was
your
that
mouth.
was the sport you played.
And
yous
thank
weren't
you
good.
very much for tuning into that episode. They're full of crap.
St. Pius's, we were a Gaelic school. These boys were a basketball
These
school.
were dog
Still beat yous.
Dog dumb.
That's right. Move on.
Okay.
John will go to train tonight and he'll sort that out on the.
Aye,
on the
right,
court.
no.
But so Alex was entered into a tournament with the ladies basketball team,
Class.
and we went up to where was that, down in
Portadown.
Portadown, and we rocked into the sports hall, and they had to play against men.
What?
Like so, men and
Men.
women were in, so they didn't have like a men's section or a women's section. I don't know.
They only had all the women over here, but they put the ladies
Competitively?
Titans
I think they seen
away.
Titans
Competitively.
and maybe thought it was like the male Titans.
Oh, I hear. And
So like
did,
imagine us playing
did they
against
change it?
actual physical
Nah,
men.
They went out and got stuck into them. Hey.
The referee
Unbelievable.
was like, "You need to have a word with yourselves," you know, to the men, as if
This
like
guy went up and checked the
Oh,
ball off Alex
really?
midair, and I
just slammed it right
I
down
had
in
Mabel. I
my
was like,
face.
Mabel, you hold this
Slammed it
here.
right in your face.
Yeah, just right like, and I got fouled. Well, he got fouled for it. No, it was mad. So rough.
I was ready for a scrap.
And then they were just
I
really
would say
cheeky.
so.
It was mad.
They were like, "Do you take a kit and go on?" I was like, "I will. I will." I was Alex, give me your shoes.
And some
That's
girls, like we were
nuts.
trying to like, can we swap? Like you go off because we're tired, but the other females like say 5's on at a time, and then there's 2 subs. They didn't want to come on because it was so rough. They were like, no, you stay on. And they were like, we
That
were
was stuck
off.
in the middle of the whole thing. Didn't want to come off.
I'm very competitive. And I
Yeah,
kept
that
going,
you would get almost angry at that. At
So
some of
cross.
the stuff they were doing.
Then
This
others.
is
nuts.
this is the sponsor for the ladies Titans team, aren't you?
Yeah.
Really mad.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, so it's
Fair
like,
Seems like a nice community there. I see
they
a lot
are
of
very
the,
nice. Like we go play on Thursday night, like social basketball they call it, but like once we are playing,
I get a phone call after every session, be like, "I think I've broke my finger."
we're so rough. You
Class.
know, you just know like the crack.
Yeah.
So you just go all that bit harder.
Show them
or-
your wonky finger that you did break.
and like this, so that's like why my finger doesn't
cares?
go straight up anymore.
Yeah, this
Dear.
one here is kind
Yeah.
of
What's this finger?
busted.
I'd have broke most of my fingers.
Mad.
Oh, nice.
I would playing contact sports.
That's the non-contact sport.
This one went out at a right angle.
Oh no way!
Catching a ball just went.
Brutal.
No, so yeah, I thought it was staying for a few weeks, but it was broken. The nurse was like, when did you do this? I was like, about 2 weeks ago. It was really a month, and I was like, yeah, I think you need to fix it.
Yeah.
Play
But
on. Play on.
play on, play on.
I did play on for a couple of weeks.
This is going to be the first time we'll have you on, because we do have to have you on again, because I think
Aye.
we only like
We're only
cuffed the
scratching the
surface,
surface.
Oh, there's a good bit more. Yeah.
and maybe immunity's lifted. So
Yeah, we're on a time crunch on a Monday afternoon, I'm afraid.
so we do want to thank you both very much for coming on,
No, thanks for
Thank
having us.
you
This
for
has
having
been-
us.
and we really do hope to see you back on again.
We've never been
Season
on.
3.
We've never been on a podcast before.
No
so-
way.
Yeah, you
Welcome to the first
Only
best
our own.
We'll
podcast
take
in
your
Magherafelt.
podcast for virginity for being guests.
You did all right.
Yeah.
That's a statement and a half.
It was good fun. There you go.
Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 13. Please go and check out their podcast, because it is by
We'll
far
link it
one of the best podcasts.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Mm.
It's not
It's
bad.
so good.
It's raw, it's unfiltered, and
Nitty-gritty.
it's genuine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has got some great guests on it. Some not great guests too.
Just don't
Was
listen
that,
to
was that your episode? Or?
But
your
mine, just his, not mine.
but thank you so much for tuning in. If you tune in next week, it'll be mine and Alex's last podcast of the year. And yeah,
Yeah, we thank you so much for coming and being our last guest of 2024. We loved it.
No,
No,
problem
we had
at
a-
all.
we had a great
We had a
time.
great time.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
See you again next time, you
Enjoy your walks.
legends.
Yes.
You legends.
Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.